Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and welcome to Toy Me, Toy You, episode 15. I'm Dave.
And I'm Lily, and on tonight's show, on Pick Your Own, we're going to be looking at our favourite white toys, and in discussion, what do you do once you complete your collection goals?
And we'll also have a selection of recent toy news and our pickup. So thank you for tuning in, as always, and do join in the conversation in the live chat, or let us know your thoughts in the comments if you're watching this on catch-up. Thank you for tuning in again, guys. Let's get on with it, shall we? Toy Me, Lee.
So you, Dave.
Hey!
Oh, hello everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Toy Me, Toy You. How you doing,
doing,
Dave?
Lee? You all right? I'm good. I'm very
Yeah,
good.
I'm
A little
alright.
bit tired. I've had a sick child, so I'm a little bit tired. But thankfully, he's getting better, so that's good. And we're here and ready to have a good time.
Always a good time. Always a good time. Speaking of good time, shall we introduce our guest, one of our guests tonight?
Oh, go for it, Lee. Go for it.
Oh, yes. So returning for a second time coming, it is probably the sexiest Welshman you'll ever meet. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Brad.
I thought I was going to be Ed then.
It's a choice of two. It's a difficult choice. I just typed evening all into the chat, but I nearly typed evening ASL. And that was nearly a really bad first impression. It was like AOL Instant Messenger back in 1999. That was tough times.
Steady. Be careful.
Yeah, I know. And that evening ASL.
We will be having another guest joining us in a little while. He's just running a little bit late because life, you know. So there we go. Let's see who we've got in the chat, Lee. Hello there, everybody. Lovely people of the chat.
We have Guzzy. Hello, Guzzy. We also have Cosmic Toy Man, who show, didn't we? Yeah, had technical difficulties on that share, but that was fun. We have Mr. Justice. Hello there. We also have
Barbara Marks. These are some of the regular Cosmic Council viewers I'm recognising here. Good to have you with us, guys. Guyver, welcome as always. A regular, good guy. Stuart, another regular. Welcome. We've got a crowd.
Called XLR.
Who's he?
That loser.
Yeah. What ass.
All right. Thank you for joining us then, everyone. Shall we get in and get started with a bit of the old news?
Oh, we love a bit of news.
You've really done it now. You've really done it now. You've really been and really gone and really done it this time. What have I done then?
Okay, here we go. And these are very sexy. Look at that. These are Playmates TMNT Big Mouth playsets.
Just before we carry on, Dave, we have some breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another guest.
let
It
me
is
just
snuck on.
remove
It's not
the
rolling
news
on.
from the screen momentarily and
That
welcome
means we've got to start this
our
again.
second very special guest. He is the man from Vaults of Iacon. It's Ed. Come and join us. I'll bring him in. There we go.
Hello.
Very.
Thanks for joining us, Ed. How are you doing?
My sincerest apologies. I I was all there ready, and just everything went to hell in a handcart. So
All right.
which is usually the way that these things happen. But yes, I'm here now. So
But
yeah,
you're
my
here
apologies
now.
for my tardiness.
Welcome, Ed, and see me after class.
Indeed. So where are we up to?
We are
Sorry.
just kicking off the news.
Right.
Just interrupted it to welcome you on, mate. Right.
No, you could have I could have waited. It's fine.
Okay, this is the first piece of news anyway. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Big Mouth playsets. This is something we discussed when Spider-Father was on the show. We talked about micro toys, and he brought up some Ninja Turtles older sets that were similar to this that I'd never seen before at that point. And can be bought secondhand, but are a bit pricey. So when I saw this news, I was quite excited because I used to love like things like micro machines and that sort of thing when I was a kid. I loved my Ninja Turtles. So yeah, hopefully these will get a nice wide release and I'll be able to pick them up at regular retail price, which I'm sure is not going to be huge. Yeah, and these are a bit sexy. It's probably the most exciting bit of news for me that we've had in a while.
So I'm just thinking. Sorry, mate.
Go on, mate.
I was going to say, is the bad guy here the water tower? Because it's a pretty vicious-looking water tower. If like he could put up a good scrap, but I don't know if it could take on both turtles at the same time.
Yeah. The interesting thing is they haven't got any bad guys in these sets.
Have they not?
But hopefully we'll get some more sets down the line. So we've got
Maybe like
the Leonardo head, which is 2.5 inches, as you can see there, includes a mini Leo and Donnie, which is cool. Donnie, the best turtle. And then there's a Raphael head as well.
Yeah, I mean, surely it'd have made more sense to have the miniature character whose head he's in, and then maybe a foot soldier.
someone to beat up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So then
a shredder in there.
if you get the
Boxer,
set of
box.
4,
Yeah.
then you've got 4 foot soldiers, and they could do Splinter, and Shredder could come with Splinter.
Yeah, I think a good guy and a bad guy would have made more sense. Maybe it's going to be a way to get us to buy more of these sets.
Yeah. Maybe the overall enemy is just politics.
Anyway, I want this. I want this to put on a shelf and mess around with.
They're cool.
Because it looks lovely. And then we've got this from how do I say this? Kyoto Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi. And that's Street Fighter 6 Ryu in a 6-inch scale. And he does look cool. He's up for pre-order at £95. That's a bit pricey, isn't it? But he does look nice. Apart from in this picture, if you look at his right shoulder, there's a very obvious ball there, and it just looks a bit weird.
Street Fighter's a real weird one, isn't it? They've like I recently sold all my Street Fighter figure arts, which were lovely, but I needed the money more. But they went into like Storm Collectibles and now Revoltech, Kyoto. They just never seem to really settle. They've got those ones in Smiths as well, the Jada Toys ones.
They look very good. I'm tempted by the DJ that's just come out.
Is there a DJ?
Very tempted. Yeah, that's recently been released. I'm very, very tempted to get him.
Sweet.
I think it's because it's the Revoltech joints, isn't it? So I would assume that they're probably quite hard to disguise under like chunky upper arms like that. So that's probably why
the whole thing is that these are supposed to be like hyper articulated, isn't it? That's their brand, if you like. But it does affect the look in certain poses, unfortunately. But in the right pose, he looks great. There's nice sculpting on the muscles and everything, and the head looks good, and that effects piece is cool. But yeah, it's a lot of money as well. And when you've got things like Jada out there that just seem to be so well received and so popular, I haven't really heard anything bad about them.
No.
And for a fraction of the cost, yeah, I don't think I could persuade myself to get something like this over a Jada Street Fighter, to be honest. All right, Brad, do you want to take this one?
Here he is. Here he is, our new lad,
Oh.
the Age of the Primes line. A little bit of Armada Red Alert here. They've been a bit of a mixed bag, I find, like the Armada releases. They don't seem to have, like the Starscream looked really, really great, spot on perfect, but when you get him in hand, you realize it doesn't have all the charm of the original. I'm full on expecting this one to be like kind of almost the same feeling, but I think going in with those kind of expectations, this is just going to be a nice little Voyager kind of solid Transformer version of our old pal Red Alert from Armada. They obviously, you know, budgets and the amount of plastic you can chuck into one toy these days is completely different. So they're never going to feel the same and give you that full-on nostalgic chonk boy Armada feeling. But you know, I'm looking forward to this guy. He's definitely going to be a nice one for the shelf, and just hopefully it's a nice figure. It looks nice. It looks like it hits all the spots. Maybe you can have him on toast. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like he does the deal. I'm kind of just looking forward to it. Yeah. And there's not much from this line I want, actually. There's it's only this, and I can't remember which other one I wanted, but it's quite nice to pick and choose, I find, these days, because the budget only allows for that anyway. But yeah, let's get out right.
The alt mode looks pretty nice and tidy.
It does. And all of the windows are made of jam, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Another Armada reference for you people.
I just hope it's like a bit chunky, a bit big.
Roof.
Yeah. The original though had so many cool features. They're never going to replicate that for the price nowadays. But the original you can get for like next to nothing nowadays if you find a decent kind of eBay lot or the old Vinted listing. You can just get it. But get this as well. Yeah. Maybe get the paper.
Bit of old, bit of new. Why not?
Like a Pop-Tarts. 90s Pop-Tarts. Nothing was like them.
There we go. Pop-Tart news. And moving on.
Hashtag bring back Pop-Tarts.
This is Supreme crossed with Transformers. Now, Supreme is a Korean fashion brand for those not in the know, which was me until I saw this. And this is their Optimus Prime, based obviously on the G1 Optimus Prime mold in a lot of red. Now, Ed, you're a fan of G1 Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on this?
Oh, great. Another G1 Prime.
Yeah.
This one's red.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the good thing about Transformers. Excuse me. There's something for everybody. Yeah. And I'm sure there will be people out there that will lap this up, and, you know, more power to them. It kind of is very reminiscent. Do you remember when they did the Bape G1 Primes? Yeah. So it's just another, you know, it's just another extension of that, really. So it'd be curious. I mean, it'll probably be at a premium price, I would have thought. Maybe it's one for. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's probably one for a completist. You know, I think it's just that. I mean, the Bape. I mean, when the Bape ones came out, you know, they never really sort of like blew my skirt up because it didn't really mean anything to me, you know. So maybe this won't mean much to other collectors, like say, unless they're completists that they want every variation of Prime going, or maybe they just like red. You know, I don't know, but yeah, there'll be some love for it out there.
There are definitely those people out there who will buy every version of Optimus Prime and nothing else. And so it's good for those people.
But I think it's just, I mean, I just question the marketing, because it's like, you know, we've just, you know, we've had Missing Link, we've had the Retro Prime, you know, so like it just seems to have been just succession too quickly, you know, for the same mold. You know, maybe if they'd stretched it out a little bit, or given a bit of time between them. But I don't know. Like I said,
To say for a premium fashion brand, it doesn't look very premium.
no.
It's just a very plain white text. Looks like something you'd pick up in Poundland in that respect.
Yeah,
not the prime figure himself, but the trailer just.
I mean, the thing is, when I saw this the other day, the only thing I could think of is they're really, really missing a trick by not doing like a collab with Amazon.
Yeah.
Just do an Amazon Prime truck.
Yeah.
And it's
That
just
feels like a no-brainer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So,
Optimus Primark.
Yeah, Primark. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next piece of news
Oh,
then. Hot Toys, which, as always, creep me out so much. But this is a Hot Toys Terminator 2 T800. These, again, are 1/6 scale and set you back a lot of money. This is going to be £330. Ouch. And they go for that like hyper-realistic faces. And that's why I say they're creepy, because I could not have that on my shelf next to my bed. I would not sleep.
Or if they gave it like a really squeaky voice box, though,
Yeah, but
that would take away any kind of threat, wouldn't it? Hello, would you like to see my machine gun? I don't know why he's Mexican.
hello to my little
Never
friend.
was. Kind of went from German to Mexican, Austrian to Mexican, then, didn't I?
They look safer when they have glasses on. That was the same trick they had with the Blade one we looked at previously. Glasses on is just about okay.
It's not as
when
creepy.
you can see the eyes. No. But yes, anyway, let's talk about it. It does look good, and I do like a bit of Terminator. And if I wasn't,
released? Sorry,
I don't know about
or like
that.
a remold.
It's the
I'm
only
sure there's
version
an
I've
original.
seen.
Yeah. It looks.
Is it? How have Hot? It's probably going back a fair few years, but I know Hot Toys seem to have some issues when it came to like the soft goods. Like the fake leather effect stuff. The one reel that springs to mind is the '89. The Keaton Batman. There was a lot of problems with the cape for that one on the Hot Toys. It degraded really badly. Do we know if they've solved that issue? And
I haven't heard anything about that, to be honest with you.
right.
Yeah.
But they're fantastic. They're really nice Hot Toys, but it's a whole other level of collecting. It's the prices that they command, which, I'm a Yorkshireman, so I'm not going to say I think it's worth it, just out of principle. But it's the likenesses are great, but it's just, you go in for that kind of collecting, you need some finances behind you for that kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's you don't necessarily need to get loads and loads of them, do you? Like if you've got a bit of money behind you, you can just get one or two a year, maybe. Even that would be a stretch for me, but but if that's what you want, if you want a small amount of really quality pieces in your collection, it's an option, isn't it?
But you know as well as I do, the collector's mentality. It would be like, right, well, I've got the T800. I need the endoskeleton. Right, I need the one where he's got half his face missing. Oh, I could do with a T1000 just to put, and it just, it snowballs,
There's a lot of accessories with this as well, aren't there? You got the rose bars,
they really go for it.
That's class. They don't always hold value though. There seems to be I was looking through I didn't finish either of those sentences, and I apologize for that. I was looking through the older Rogue One Hot Toys a couple of months back, and there were some really obscure releases from Rogue One. There's a couple from The Mandalorian as well, like the when they were on that mud planet and they dressed up as the tractor driver guys. They released those, and they don't seem to hold value because they're so obscure. And I always wonder how obscure do Hot Toys go and how much do they actually sell of the more obscure kind of like characters and things? Because some of them you're just like, they've got a Hot Toys of that. It's in Funko Pops. You know, the people invest in like 200-300 quid in a figure. Like, how many of those are they actually selling? And are they made to order? Are they just limited release? But I can't imagine like them selling a lot of some of the characters they release, but they must do. You know, they put all that like, dev into the
part
toys.
of the reason the price is so high is because they're going to be in limited numbers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
What,
they
like,
don't have the economies of scale as if
Yeah.
you're doing a huge run. Yeah.
I'd love to know how much they make on each figure. £7.
Right, there's a little research project for you, Brad. Come and tell us next time you're on.
I'm on it. Chat GPT.
Well, I would assume where they're manufactured and the cost of buying in bulk materials, there'll probably be a very good markup on figures.
I should think so. And then we got some Marvel Legends news. They had a Marvel Legends live stream. I'm not going to cover everything that they've announced there, but just a couple I've picked out. So we've got this Venom, and this is from the Spider-Man 2 video game. This is a deluxe Venom. So he's probably going to cost around £60 because he's one of their big figures. He'll be about 8 inches. You like a bit of Venom, don't you, Lee?
Yeah, he's quite one of my favourite characters for the because you know it's like I said, you can't go wrong with a black spider.
That's cool. So what do you make of this one?
Yeah, he's pretty cool, isn't he? This is one of the is this one of them deluxe ones? The
Marvel Legends Deluxe,
more expensive ones. Yeah. I think the design looks alright. I mean, I've never really played the PlayStation 2 game. It's a game I would like to play, but I don't own a PlayStation, so can't.
He's got a nice looking tongue.
He's definitely.
The only thing I think is the legs. The legs look a bit thin, maybe. Is it just me?
Yeah, definitely. His calves need to be bigger.
So is it a new Venom mold, or have they reused the Marvel Legends Venom mold that?
No, I believe this is a new one.
Right.
And he's got a removable spit piece in his mouth. They mentioned that on the stream. So all the saliva around his tongue there, that piece comes out.
There you go, sold it.
And they made a point of saying that's the first time they've done something like that. Very exciting.
Drool.
He does have this interchangeable arm piece as well.
Glad they left that in the oven.
No, sometimes you just gotta go Octor, spit on that thing.
Oh no.
Happy stance. Hungry stance.
Yeah, that's a cool looking Venom, I think, overall. And then we've got a Spirit Spider, which is basically a Ghost Rider as Spider-Man thing, again from the game. I haven't played the game, so I don't really know where this comes into it. But I think it's a cool looking white figure, and we will be discussing white figures later in Pick Your Own. Keep watching, guys. Anyway. He's got nice hair, hasn't he?
He does have nice hair, yeah. Quite the hairdo.
Yeah,
does he shoot out chains instead of webbing?
His hair. I hope so.
Go on, Ed. You want to say
I'd
something?
really like a nice Ghost Rider figure, from Marvel Legends. I was speaking to, it was Gareth, Cosmic Toys, months and months ago. Marvel Legends released a character called Chamber? I think it's called. It's kind of like, he's in like black biking leathers. And he just has this head with like flames coming up. And I've happened upon this idea of getting it, because they went to sort of like game or whatever for selling for peanuts, and I had this idea of buying a chamber and trying to pick up a Marvel Legends Ghost Rider and swapping the heads, because then it'd look kind of like the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider, from the first movie. But Hasbro must have been wise to this in their planning, because the head pegs are different sizes. So I never bothered, but it'd be nice to see like a Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider in Marvel Legends, kind of akin to this. But that does look pretty cool. I mean, not for me, but I do like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just an odd mashup of two characters. I think it looks interesting.
Yeah,
I won't buy it, I'll be honest, but it looks.
So I don't feel like the skull is a bit too much like death, and everything else is like superhero.
Yeah,
but it works.
All right, let's go on to the last bit of news for today. Joy Toy are doing some new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures, and I know they're quite popular out there in social media. I've seen a lot of people showing love for these. So we get in, that's Casey Jones, Adjutant Zork, Captain Zorax, and Triceratron Infantryman are the four, I believe, in that order. So let's have a look. You've got Casey, and these are about 4 to 5 inches. So 1/18 scale, so smallish figures, and they tend to sell for about £40. I think some of the bigger figures might be a little bit more, but they do look good, like good quality, well sculpted, decent articulation, and all of that kind of thing that you would want in an action figure. And nice accessories.
What's a Joy Toy make? What else did Joy Toy make?
They're really well known for their Warhammer figures.
Oh, right, okay.
To show loves those, and
okay, I think other ones, yeah. Ah, wicked. This is nice.
So we'll skip through these, and he comes with some armor. That's quite cool.
That looks like a completely different figure, doesn't it?
Yeah. Got some roller skates on. You can't go wrong with a roller skate. Look at that. And as you can see, lots of accessories.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do that with all these figures. They always get loads and loads of accessories.
When did this is probably going to be a really stupid question, because I don't, there will be people out there that know about it. When did dinosaurs go into turtles?
Oh, years ago.
They've always been there.
Yeah.
They're an alien race, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right.
Near the start, really, I think.
Right.
No, I'm thinking of Beast Wars.
No, they were in the original run, I'm sure.
There's a distinct selection of eye makeup between the prehistoric animals. Those seem to have different eye shadows. I don't feel like I'm in a position to appreciate that as much as I should, but
well, you're going out conquering the universe. You want to look your best.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Dressed to impress. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Should I say dressed to impress?
You never know when you're going to meet the one, do you?
Exactly. Two Styracusauruses glancing at each other across the battlefield.
Look at all like
dominated by a dinosaur.
Everything's matching here. The neckerchief, shadow.
Doing the weights.
Yeah, it's like she's running onto a battlefield, just repping. Haven't even got any weapons, just repping. Brilliant.
Nice big gun.
They're flipping nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
The only thing is that they're turtles. I just felt like they were too detailed, so I just didn't go in on it. Like they'd added metal plates on the backs of the shells and things like that. Yeah. It works well on the other figures where they add extra details, but the turtles I like to be a bit more straightforward.
Get them smoothed. Buff them up. They've all got like gym accessories as well. It's like weapons. like a torque bar.
Yeah, they've got to keep in shape.
If you don't keep them in shape, your figure loses weight. Full on torque bar.
There we go.
They're blooming nice though.
They are cool.
I feel like he has my favourite shoulders. There's
Love
something
a
pleasing.
set of shoulder pads.
Yeah, just big shoulder pads.
Take us
Ones
back
you can
to the
look over.
80s.
Yeah, you can look over them like it's a precipice.
Right, that's all for the news today. Let's take that down. Oh no. I think I've removed Ed instead of the news by accident. Whoops. Sorry, Ed. My bad.
Fine.
There we go. All right, that was the news, and that takes us on to the next thing, which is the segment where we interview one of our lovely guests. And because Brad's done this before and suffered the injustices, it's Ed's turn to go through it now. This is 5 points of articulation. Okay, lovely jubbly. Do you want to make Ed big for this part, Lee? Here we go, Ed. Are you ready for this? You're usually on the other end of this, aren't you?
Yeah. My lawyer has advised me to only confirm my name and serial number.
All right, let's do it. Question one for you then, Ed,
Right.
is what got you into collecting and why do you do it?
It's a very good question. The question I've asked myself for many, many years. Why am I doing this? Right, let me see. Right, okay. I'll keep glancing off because I wrote some answers down. So I thought I better do my homework because I'll forget.
He's prepared, good stuff.
Right, okay. So I suppose really it started mid-late 90s is when it started for me. Short version is I had all my old Transformer toys from back in the day in the loft, got them out of the loft. They were tidied up and sold. I then purchased another quite large collection from a local lad that I knew around here, but also had comics as well. Purchased those. I flipped some of those, kept some stuff because they were all loose. But the ones that I flipped, it was because I wanted to get boxed G1. Because obviously not being happy with, going the easy route and having loose figures, I thought, no, I want to make this as difficult for myself as I possibly can. But to be fair, back in the 90s when I started, picking up complete box G1 Transformers wasn't that difficult, and it wasn't that harsh on your wallet either. So come, I'd say, probably 2003, 2004, I'd pretty much collected everything box G1 that I wanted to. I'd done and dusted kind of thing, of sit back on my laurels. But I started probably late 90s. Reason, I think at that point in my life, I think it was just kind of looking for a hobby and like a bit of an escape from the mundanity of life. You know what I mean? Like, just a hobby distraction. And I suppose at the end of the day, transforming robots are pretty cool, aren't they? So, why would you not want to pick a few up and have them on your shelf?
Well, I don't think you're going to get any arguments here, Ed.
So yeah, that's pretty much sort of like the shorthand version of when I started and how I got back into it.
Awesome. Question 2: what do you collect?
Oh, let me think. Right, it's a bit really difficult. You're making me think with these. Well, obviously, Transformers. Because I was running late, I didn't have time to put some up on the shelves so you could have a little look. But yeah, Transformers. Not so much. I say this, and I'm like a stuck record. I don't actually consider myself as an active collector now because I've pretty much collected all that I want. from a figure point of view. So I've got like I mentioned, I've tapped off the G1 collection. I've pretty much tapped off my masterpiece collection. What I do now is I only buy to either upgrade or replace. So like I suppose a good case example is Fans Toys with their Galvatron, the Sovereign 2.0. So that will be, I'll get rid of the older one to replace it with the new one. So that's pretty much, Transformers to upgrade and replace. The thing that I've got a few. I pick up the odd Black Series, Star Wars Black Series figure now and again, but I haven't done any for quite a few months now because there's been nothing really come out that's caught my eye. More recently, it's been because the Transformers figure stuff are tapped off. It's been more the peripheral merchandise things that I've been looking at. So the more oddball stuff. Things like pamphlets or books or like obscure comics, posters. Just before Christmas, I picked up I think it was Bluebird that made it, the Soundwave Design Center.
Yeah.
Which sort of it's a drawing thing and that. And then at Christmas, a friend got me some Transformers walkie-talkies in the style of Soundwave. So I'm leaning more towards that now. This oddball peripheral merchandise. So I've things like Transformers marbles and obscure alt cards and things like that. And then I suppose the other thing, which I might as well say it, get it out there, I collect Spectrum, Sinclair Spectrum stuff.
Yeah. Surprised to hear you mention that, Ed.
Well, I know I don't like to talk about it. It's I try to, I do try to keep them separate of each other. It's like me on Instagram and the social medias and stuff like that. I do have separate accounts for the Transformer stuff and the Spectrum stuff. So I do try to keep them separate because I find it really, really funny. On the occasion where I have crossed the streams, so to speak, like if I've posted some Spectrum stuff on Vaults of Iacon, I've actually lost followers. People have unfollowed me.
People are odd.
Yeah, they just are like. I find it hilarious. I think so. God, that's fun. So I try to keep them separate. But yeah, Spectrum stuff and Transformers. That's it. Yeah.
I like a bit of retro video gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a Mega Drive kid. I've seen today they've just done a launch trailer for a new Shinobi game, so that looks really interesting. Made by the people that made the Streets of Rage 4 game, Lizard King.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Anyway, we'll move on. Question 3: what is your favourite part of your collection?
Yeah, I had a tough one with this one. I would probably have to say
It's the Spectrums, isn't it?
No, the Spectrums do rank quite highly there. Yeah, but keeping it to Transformer stuff, I would say it's the peripheral stuff. The sort of like the wider merchandise. The comics and annuals and things like that. I'd say that's probably the taking the box G1 stuff out of the equation. I would say that's probably because the masterpiece stuff is nice, but it takes up a lot of space. And it's if I ever were to downsize, that would probably where I would start. So I would say there's probably less attachment to the masterpiece stuff than there is to. But yeah, I would say probably favorite part is the comics and the annuals. Like the old, the 85, 86 annuals and things like that, and like the poster magazines. There's the Panini sticker book as well. That's lovely. Is that I've got mine in a box down there somewhere, and I've got a couple of boxes down here with all my G1 comics in and things like that. So yeah, But I do like that stuff, yeah, because that was the main growing up. When Transformers came out, it's like you didn't get to see the cartoon very often, So the main thing was the Marvel comics. That's where you got all your info from. And the learning about them. So yeah, yes, I know, Gareth. I'll pick one. The peripherals. I'm trying to give him value for money here.
What are you doing, Gareth? Coming on here trying to police our show. Haven't you got your own show? All right. Question 4. Which toy line would you say represents the best value?
Yeah, well, easy. Lego. I'd have to go Lego. But the caveat I would put with that is I would say the older kind of like generic builder sets rather than the modern stuff. Don't get me wrong, the modern Lego is cool, but I think it restricts creativity in some respect, does modern Lego sets. Where like you're older, like the Lego sets when I were a kid, it was just a box of bricks, and you were forced to use your imagination, to come up with, spaceships, cars, things like that. So I think from that perspective, yeah, I know Lego's always been expensive, even back in the day, but the play value and the investment of time that you can get out of just a box of Lego, and as a kid, I'd sit for hours just on the rug, playing with the Lego. And I think that does equate to a good kind of like, value, for money for a toy. Bringing
it is solid as well.
It is, yeah. I would say, but I did though. There was one other that did come to mind, and I was quite surprised that this came to mind because this toy came out after my time, after I'd moved on from toys. And you have to excuse me, I don't know the proper name for it, but it's that big triangular shaped Mantiforce ship.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember the Red Venom. I can't remember the name of the actual one, but there was tons in it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Help us out, chat.
It was wicked.
So I think the cost versus what you get and the playability, that Mantiforce ship was amazing. Because you open it up and there's just, my word for the plethora of other smaller vehicles and minifigures and stuff like that. So yeah, I would have, if that had have come out in my day as a kid, yeah, I'd have been all over that. I would have played hours with that. So yeah, there you go. That's my answer to that question.
Right, Gareth says the main one is just called Mantiforce.
It's just called Mantiforce, right? Okay.
Thank you, Gareth. Question 5. Is there a toy from your childhood that you would love to see a modern update of?
A stick.
A fully articulated stick.
Yeah, a fully articulated stick that makes its own gun noise. Do you know what I mean? Rather than no. Right, yeah. This one was a tough one because the majority of the toys from my childhood have actually seen, re-releases or reissues. So there isn't really anything, we've seen like anniversary versions of Action Man and $6 Million Man and Evil Knievels and all stuff like that, and Corgi cars and obviously Transformers, things like that. So yeah, so I was a bit of a lost how to answer this one, but then I remembered a toy that I did have as a kid, which was actually a knockoff of an existing toy, but it was called Action Jack. You may be aware of it, you may not be, but it was kind of like, it was probably about maybe 3-inch. It was just a bit smaller than a Star Wars figure, and it had articulated head, as in that, the head twisted side to side, the arms moved at the shoulder, but it had like hip and knee joints, and they used to come in a small box, probably about the size of a cigarette packet, and you'd get like little accessories, you know. So like one of them would be like a snow patrol. It'd come with skis and like a helmet and stuff, and other one would be like an army man or a doctor, a medic, and things like that. So yeah, Action Jacks, but they were actually a rip-off of. Oh, I was just going to say the name now. Matchbox released them, but I can't remember the name. Slipped my mind of what they were released under Matchbox. But yeah, Action Jacks.
It's a new one for me. Yeah. Action Jacks. Awesome. Right. Thank you, Ed. That is all your questions. Thank you very much for answering those.
Thank
Let's
you.
move on with the show. And shall we do some pickups?
Yes, let's have a look at some pickups. Let me just get them played.
Do you think he suspects anything?
Hey. Right. Shall we let one of our lovely guests kick off? Ed, since it's your first time, you can kick off. for us.
Most certainly
Oh,
could.
right.
What have you picked up?
Totally unprepared. I'm going to have to go to my Instagram feed to find out. Let me have a look.
All right. Shall we go to someone else first then? let's give Brad a go and come back.
Yeah,
I mean-
yeah, go. No.
Oh, Brad!
I wasn't ready. No one's ready in
Brad,
Wales. I'm kidding. I am. It's been like I haven't bought much since Christmas, to be honest. I'm just going to go back through the Christmas pickups. I think some of you have seen them, but the good news is there are only 3, so I won't talk for very long. Actually, I didn't bring this one out on Transformers the show when I did these pickups, but me and a different Ed, the one from Wales, we do like a Secret Santa every year, which isn't really a Secret Santa. It's a not so Secret Santa where we just tell each other what we want and we buy it for each other and wrap it up and act all like, ooh, that's a surprise when we get it. But he got me Sideburn because I asked for Sideburn, and Sideburn is averagely terrible, but I still love him. Yeah, he's a nice little fun Transformer. What was the original version of this mold called?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
Shadow
One of the
Striker?
Cyber. Not yeah, that's the one, Shadow Striker. Yeah,
Striker.
it's Shadow Striker, isn't it? But they just painted it up as Sideburn by putting some flames on the side and giving it a weird head. It's fun though. I like it. It's all right, and it was a Christmas present from Ed. So I've kept it in my pants. Anyways, next one. Claire, my lovely fiance, I sent her a load of links for Christmas because she wanted to get me a Transformer, and she doesn't know what Transformers I've got. So she said, like, I want to get you a Transformer, but I want to get you one that I know you want. So she picked, I'm very happy she picked this one. From the links I sent her, she picked Slipstream. Never had a Slipstream before. Really, really lovely mold. It's the Windblade mold, isn't it? Yeah, the Windblade mold. Little nice simple transformation. Made a lovely Christmas morning opening that and having a little play around with it, and she's lovely. She's been on the desk ever since. If you actually prefer it to Windblade, I've got the original Windblade, which is a right folly over one, but loads of nice detail on that. And yeah, this is just nice to have as a Slipstream.
Lovely.
Sorry, something just popped up on my screen from Adobe, and it was just like everything. Yeah, there was a big box, obviously. Yeah. Finally, far more recently, this was one that made me really, really happy. Armada Wheeljack came out. It's another version of that sideswipe mold, but it's a really good mold. I don't think
It's an awesome mold.
Yeah, I don't think anyone complains when they get this mold. It's just like, yeah, no problems with revisiting it. It's it's a pretty much I don't know if it's called the perfect mold, but it's been reused that many times that it doesn't seem to show any degradation. It's a really good version of Sideswipe, and I'm just glad to have Armada Sideswipe. He's got a big boo-boo on his chest. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I've got Springer on order, actually. I got the what's it called? Studio Series 86 Springer from HLJ of all places. So that's currently my HLJ warehouse waiting to ship. Apart from that, it's been more of a case of selling stuff. I've been slimming down the collection for a couple of months and just kind of offing stuff as we go. But yeah, I've got like the new combiners on order, but I think that's about it. Apart from that and Red Alert, and I've pretty much stopped buying everything else. Like Ed was mentioning the Black Series. I found the Black Series just got a bit too much. They were just chucking anything out, and it was all expensive, and it was quite hard to get the decent stuff on sale, and the stuff that was on sale was still quite expensive. Then you just end up with too much stuff. But yeah, it got a bit congested. I feel like the Black Series did. I just wish there was like an alternative to like the 6-inch Star Wars figures that was affordable, because like the 3.75-inch ones are now just stupidly expensive as well. So all power of the Force. But that's it. Oh, so I went on to something else then. It was pickups, wasn't it?
Good stuff. That's all right. No worries. We're relaxed here.
Tangents.
Are you ready for a Z?
Right.
Let's do this.
Right. Yes, I've remembered.
Do it.
I picked all. No, I jest. Right. So, yeah, like, yeah, I'm going to have to go back because there's nothing been much recently. So, yeah, Deluxe G1 Prime.
Hooray!
Oh, nice.
I put it back in the box. If anyone follows me on Instagram, will know that I got the Toy Hacks sticker set.
Yep.
And I applied these stickers, which, I mean, obviously can't really tell there because it's back in the box. But yeah, there was that. Those Toy Hacks stickers make him look really, really nice. And I would say that if Takara released this, that's probably what it'd look like. You know, it'd be all blinged up, you know, rather than just grey flat plastic. But yeah, so no, there's that. The Chogokin Rubik Cube. That came, I think it came last week, did that? That came last week. So that's really nice, and it's really, really heavy. Yeah, so really impressed with that. It's not, I know it's not strictly Transformers, but it transforms. But it is nice. That's so there's that. Let me see now. I'm having to go further back here. Magic Square, Light Piece, toy version. That is really nice. That is lovely, is that? And I got the EX version as well, with the bling paintwork on it. So I've got
a nice box.
It is a lovely box, that. Yeah, I do appreciate a nice box. So that's the version that goes with MP36, and then he goes with MP36 Plus. You know, so you got your toy version and your animated version covered, and then bring it a bit more recent. I swore off these, so these are my hypocrite purchases, and it's the Blockies. There we go.
Oh, they've got
First
another one.
keeping the Blockies.
Yeah, I'm not one for the bandwagon, as I cheekily put on my post when I got these. But I've no interest in the smaller versions. They just have no interest whatsoever. But when I've forgotten whose post it was. So I apologise, but there's someone that I follow on Instagram who'd picked up the Prime, and when I saw it, I thought, right, I'll give that a chance. And I forgot where I got it from, but it had some money off. It were on sale or something, so I picked it up, and then obviously, who's Prime without Megatron? So I picked that one up from Shozi. Hence the Japanese writing on it, because I don't think that's coming a UK box just at the moment. So yeah, those were the last two. I can't fault them. They're both really, really nice. They're quite solid. The only gripe I have really is with Megatron. They've where are we? So they've changed the design style of the hands. So I know it's a small nitpick, but they don't, you know, it's like I'm not particularly a fan when they do a series of figures and then they change something fundamental mid-release, if you know what I mean. So they don't really match in that respect. But other than that, yeah, I can't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the other thing on the Megatron, the eyes light up, but the Decepticon symbol lights up. You know, in the chest. I really think they should have made the abdomen area light up. You know, where you've got the translucent plastic parts. That would have made more sense. You know, for that area to light up rather than the Decepticon logo. But you know, because they all use the same inner skeleton, then obviously they couldn't do that. So yeah, those are my recent pickups, guys.
Awesome. Good stuff. Do you want to go next, Lee?
I'll go next. Why not? Right. So one of my pickups is this week. I have been looking into a nice little desk mat for my desk because, as it's part of people have seen my display, it is a glass, so it's very difficult for a mouse to run in it. And I picked myself up a nice little Transformer one, which I think everyone's probably seen this design. So
Where's that from, mate?
It was from I went away last weekend in Real and there was a shop that just had it.
Oh, nice.
So I just randomly picked it up, which was a nice little find.
Did you say Rill?
Real, yeah.
You went to Wales on holiday?
I went to Wales on holiday.
Bloody hell, mate.
I know, I didn't even come to see you.
See Brad.
I feel guilty now.
thought you'd just bump into him
It's quite
straight
far
away.
away. I just can't believe anyone would want to come here on holiday. Don't tell Ed I said that. Well,
I've got the same one. It's nice. It's a nice map. It's a good map.
Hey, snap! Is a very nice map. It does give that nice little complete look to the deck and chef gift. Also, on the way back we dropped into Smith's. Unfortunately, they didn't have anything from in Smith's, but they did have a Hobbycrafts next door. So, I picked up some blockies.
Hey,
nice.
they're
Can't go wrong
everywhere.
with blockies.
They are everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, and not only did I pick up a blocky, I picked up the blocky because you can't go wrong with a Nemesis Prime. So I'm really looking forward to building them. And last but not least, which was actually a very nice. Hello. My screen just
Hello.
went.
Yeah, you just broke up a bit. I can hear you now.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Nope. Hello. Am I
Plow
still
on.
here?
Plow on.
Screen just went crazy. So anyway, I will say. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, is anyone there?
That was kind of
Right, so as I
traitor.
was saying, this next one's a nice find. So while I've been listening to the Triple Takeover podcast, and I never got to listen to it from the start, so I've gone back to the beginning, and they did talk a lot about Hot Rod and the GU1 mode, so I decided to pick myself up the reissue Hot Rod.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
Experience, which is actually a nice. I think give fair play to them. It is quite a nice little toy. One of those toys you just won't expect to be as nice as it is, but it's nice. Oh. So, yeah. And I didn't think these reissues had metal on them, but they're not. No, I picked this one up from my work, which was quite ironic. They've been talking about it, and I keep walking past it. So I thought, bugger it, I'll pick it up. So yeah, and that's all my pickups.
Lovely stuff.
Yes.
All right. I've picked up a few over the past couple of weeks, and the first one I got, I popped over to my local Smiths because I thought I want to get a Transformer. I haven't got one this year so far. I'll go and see what they've got. And I decided to go for Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. I already have the Netflix version, and for a long time I've been unsure about whether I should get this version instead. And I decided to go for it because I just think the yellow looks nicer and the head sculpt's nicer, basically. And yeah, when I did get it, when I saw it in hand on the shelf, that convinced me that yeah, that was the case, and that this was the one that I needed for display on my shelf. The Netflix Bumblebee is still better in some ways, I think. But yeah, mainly the color and the head sculpt on this persuaded me that he's going to be the one for the display. And I'll probably hold on to the Netflix one, maybe put it in the alt mode because it is a nice Volkswagen Beetle alt mode. And whilst I was there, I had a little rummage in the bargain bin of Smiths, and for £5, I got a Dragon Ball figure from their Dragon Stars series Go Tanks. And I'm not a Dragon Ball fan at all, but I thought for a £5 that was just a cool looking little figure, so I decided to go for it. And I've obviously taken him out. I'm an unboxer, messed around with him. He does have a decent bit of posability to him. He looks wacky and colourful, and yeah, he's just a fun little guy. So I'm happy I got him for the £5. Yeah. And then I got this from my local Poundland. I've been collecting a few of these now, Hot Wheels tuned, and this is a Mazda RX-3, I think. Yes, and I already have one of these in orange, but I decided to get the white one with the gold rims because I just thought that looked cool as well. So that's my first colour variant of these. Yeah, £1.50, so you can't go wrong. It's just something cheap and a bit of fun. And then just the other day, I was in my local TK Maxx and I found that they had this. This is the Legacy United Road Pig, which is a repaint of the Junkion Crash Bar from the previous Legacy line. And yeah, you can't go wrong with a black Crash Bar.
I don't think I've even seen that on the shelf before.
No, $10.99 in TK Maxx.
Not bad.
I wasn't going to bother with it because it was a repaint, but for that price, I thought, yeah, I'll go for it. Here's a mold I really like. I already have the Crash Bar. I love my Junkions, and he's like my favourite of those three.
He's nice, isn't he?
Junkion weaponizers that they did. He's definitely the best of the three overall, and one of my favourite figures in my collection. Absolutely love him. So got the black repaint of that, and he's very cool as well. They've sort of done these pieces in translucent red plastic because the original toy had a button you could press, and the tailpipe would light up red. So they've sort of tried to emulate that with the tail pieces here. And I've just positioned them around his body. And he actually says Transformers on what will be the gas tank, I guess, of the bike mode. Yeah, so not the best disguise there.
Transformers.
But very G2. And yeah, lovely figure. So happy to get that one. And that's it.
You don't see that a lot these days, do you? Back in the day, back in the day, you like if you bought a Knight Rider car, kit, it would actually say Knight Rider on the car, on the side of the car. Also, like you buy an A-Team van, it would say A-Team on the van. It's like it's like advertising, what you've got.
So yeah, I managed to pick up 4 items over the last 2 weeks. I wasn't really expecting to, and yeah, didn't spend a huge amount of money. In fact, I've sold some old things, so I'm in profit at the moment so far this year. It's going well. All right, thus ends pickups. Do you want to take us on to the next thing, Lee?
Aye, we could. Shall we do a bit of pick your own? Let's do a bit of pick your own. Lovely. Let's go to all this. Right, pick your own this week. We are going to. It's a bit of a sequel, I suppose. Early episode, we looked at our favourite black toys. So this week, we thought we will have a look at our favourite white toys. So, anyone would like to go first?
I can go first if you like. Why not?
There we go.
So I'll do just my main pick, and we could do some honourable mentions at the end then. So my main pick is Siege Ratchet. Ratchet is absolutely one of my favourites from the Transformers. Love emergency vehicles, as everybody knows here by now. And when Siege came out, the way they just kind of reset the scale and the quality of figures from what we'd had like in the Prime Wars trilogy, really. It was a step up. It was a new beginning, really, for the Generations line. And it just blew me away, really. We got so many good figures in Siege. And I loved what they did with the kind of G1-inspired designs, but modernized as well. And those different kind of Cybertronian alt modes and stuff. Very, very cool. And this was quite a hard figure to come by. I was fortunate enough that I was able to get one, and I loved the very angular design to him. Just a really cool figure.
That's not common at all, is it?
Yeah.
They still go for quite a lot on eBay.
Yeah. So very, very lucky to have one. And
nice.
a fantastic figure. And I know a lot of people prefer the new, was it a Studio Series 86 version of Ratchet? Definitely more accurate to the cartoon. But for me, this is my preferred version of Ratchet still. Looks fantastic. Love the colour on the window, on the plastic on the window. That looks great as well. Lovely figure. So that's my pick for my favourite white toy in my collection.
And I would definitely say out of the three modern ones, that is definitely the best looking one, I would say. It's definitely. Brad, would you like to go next?
Yeah, go on. I'll go next, man. So my pick was there was I don't know if you know this about me, but I like although I grew up with G1, I'm well into my Unicron trilogy, so I like special edition Unicron trilogy figures, and Galaxy Force was my favorite series, the Japanese version of Cybertron. And in Japan, they released 3 DVD special editions, and each special edition came with a figure. One was a red version of Exilian, which is the hot shot. That's where the name Exilian comes from, but it was called Red Exilian. There was a final one, which was a grey version of Noise Maze or Sideways. And the middle one, I think it was the middle one, came with a white version of Thunderblast, which that's not going to come up very well on camera at all. But the biggest shell former from the Cybertron series, obviously she turns into a boat. But yeah, it was a Minerva repaint of Thunderblast or Chromia, as she was known in. I think it was Chromia in Galaxy Force. So yeah, that came with a DVD, which I think I have somewhere, which is Galaxy Force, all in Japanese with no subtitles. But yeah, they were the 3 figures that took me kind of like the longest time to collect. I spent quite a few years trying to track down all 3 figures, and it ended with me getting the Sideways for like, I think about £100 at a TF Nation, or maybe the last auto assembly. But yeah, that was one I actually found. It was definitely an auto assembly. One guy was selling off a bunch of his old figures, and she was on there for like £50, and I'd only ever seen her for about maybe £100 on eBay before. She wasn't a very common figure at all. But yeah, it's a Minerva repaint of Cybertron Thunderblast or Cybertron Chromia that I really love. It's beautiful. She's got the light piping she had before, and it's all kind of tuna flavor, like a nice hue turquoisey blue, same as the missiles on her back. It's not a great figure at all in the slightest, but it holds a special place in my little Welsh heart, because it was one of the ones that I chased for a long time. And when I finally got her, I wish I'd left her in the box. That's not true, but she's white.
Nice.
Thanks.
I want to see how Lee's going to shoehorn a Black Prime into this topic.
Oh, you're going to be so disappointed, Dave. Right. So, one of my favourite white toys I own is, I'm going to say it's this guy, G1 Ultra Magnus. Now, before the chat goes weird and wide and goes, oh, well, he's red and blue, let's talk about the white Ultra Magnus.
Leave the head on. Leave the.
With the head.
Hey!
Let's get your little face. Which is weird, because actually this was a time this was all I had was for Ultra Magnus when I was a kid.
That looks amazing.
It's the G1. Is that is just you might have to be displayed like that. Well, it's the G1 Optimus Prime. What can I say? You know, you might be able to get it in red. Yes, but you can't beat the white one because I think for many of us, the white Ultra Magnus was Optimus Prime from the Return of Optimus Prime. Everyone know what I'm talking about? The episode where he's coated with the alloy, heat protect alloy, to stop him from getting infected by the hate plague. That's what I used to think this was back in the day, before I managed to get all these gubbins. But yeah, the G1 Optimus Ultra Magnus, Optimus Prime mold. It's just one of the best toys. It has a nice weight to it. Plausibility isn't that bad for a G1 for its toy of its age, and the transformation and the vehicle and the truck mode, it's all a one nice neat package. It's technically the first super robot power up in Transformers. Even though in the media that was how he looked, but you know, this is the precursor to Power Master Prime if you think about it. Yeah. And it's just a lovely figure to have. No, I would like one day for him to maybe one day do a white Prime with a red hot rod or red hot rod. Get the words in. A white Prime with a red Rodimus, you know, to recreate that fight. That's a set of toys I've always wanted. But yeah, that's my choice. And I always have a thing for Ultra Magnus. I think he's great, and yeah, I did. And as a result, I end up picking up this one.
That's the fans' toys armor, isn't it?
Because you can't go wrong with a black Magnus.
Bloody hell. I've seen that for years.
That's a brilliant toy, that, isn't it?
What was the original called? City Commander, was it?
Yeah, City Commander.
Yeah, I used to have City Commander. Yeah.
Cabal still actually has that. Still has that on sale not on sale, but they're still selling it in Cabal.
No, seriously.
Yeah. I got that recently from Cabal.
That's wild. That's. It must be going back about 15 years. I had that. The City Commander. Flipping heck, that's an old set.
That I think if it worked for that's one of the sets that put third party on the map, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's one of the first ones that was kind of like everyone wanted after the after the originals came out. But it's funny you should say about like Magnus. You're thinking that Magnus was Prime with like the alloy armor on it. I remember seeing the Magnus, like just the white Prime figure in my mate's toy box when I was young and being really confused about it. It's like, what's this? This is great, because my brother had Power Master Prime for Christmas, and I just thought that was the Optimus Prime toy for years. And I finally saw this Magnus, which was like the perfect representation of Optimus Prime. The chest windows were actually the cab windows, and I was a bit like, hang on, something's up here. What's going on? Yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
Like when I was a kid, I used to have a tub of G1. I don't know if there was hand-me-downs or just stuff mum and dad picked up, but I had a the Optimus Prime toy and this trailer, and then for some reason this white Optimus Prime, and I just never knew why. And because one of the episodes I grew up on was Return of Optimus Prime, I just put 2 and 2 together and got 3.
Yeah, that's what it was like when you were a kid. I don't think I knew what like Starscream and Hot Rod and Megatron ever looked like until I looked. Maybe when the internet came out, like around like 2000.
Yeah.
When I had the internet finally, like I had no idea what they looked like. I'd never seen them before.
Yeah.
I'd seen Rodimus Prime and a few of the ones I had when I was little, but most of them never seen before. The Seekers I'd never seen before because I was on the cusp of I was born in '83, so by the time I had any kind of awareness, Transformer had gone. But yeah, and I forget that. It's quite easy to forget that. Yeah, I love those little things you see when you're little, like things at car boot sales where you kind of come across them and you're like, that must be that, and that must be that. I'm sure there's a bigger version of that somewhere, but there never was, Weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what Ed's got, shall we?
Go on, Ed.
White, right then.
Oh, Whitey then.
Just for Gareth.
Oh,
Hey.
that's beautiful.
A white ZX Spectrum. No, joking aside. Right, I would say it's probably going to be a toss-up between the Fans Toys FT48X, so the G1 version, the G1 toy version of Jazz, which is, when it's in vehicle mode, it's lush. It's absolutely gorgeous, because it's all tampoed up, with the proper Martini Racing decals and stuff like that. So there's that. Or I'm a sucker for the big guy, Fans Toys Phoenix.
Oh.
So, yeah. But the interesting story, this isn't a production model. This is the test shot from Fans Toys. Is this one? So he's always out on display. So I do have a boxed one, a production one, but this is this was one that I got sent to do a review back when it first came out. So yeah, he's nice. So yeah, those are my 2, 3 white. But I've got to, like Lee did his honourable mention of a Black Prime. I have a penchant for translucent plastic, so I'll just mention
nice.
X Transbots, Shining Yellow Magnus. This is my I bought this as a bit of an apology to myself because way back when I did actually have the Jafcon Shining Ultra Magnus, the G1 version. They were limited to 800 worldwide, and back when I did a big cull of my collection, I sold it. Which, don't get me wrong, I got a very, very good price for it back. I mean, we're talking, 20... It's probably about 20 years since I sold it, but I got a really good price for it back then. I kept the Diaclone version one and the standard version one. But, so this was my apology to myself for getting rid of my G1 Shining Magnus. And like I said, because I just love translucent plastic, So yeah, there we go. Those are my picks.
Lovely stuff. I've got a couple of honourable mentions. I did try and have a look and see if I had anything that wasn't Transformers just to mix it up. Unfortunately, I don't. So it's all going to be Transformers from here. So I've got Earthrise Run Amok. Run Amok, nice. One of my favourite toys from when I was a kid. I had a hand-me-down G1 Run Amok. Along with some Micromasters, and that was pretty much my Transformers experience toy-wise growing up. And yeah, Earthrise Run Amok, fun looking figure, more in line with his media appearances than the toy, and so he's mostly white, and just a cool figure, and a nice looking car mode, and one that's got quite a lot of stick, I think, in the community, but I think it's a quality figure. So he's one of my honourable mentions. And because you can't go wrong with a Lamborghini police car, I've got Clampdown from Legacy as well. Yeah, awesome figure. a white police Lamborghini. That's cool.
It's that
Lamborghinis
mold
are
again,
always
isn't it?
cool. Yeah.
It's that
Just
mold again.
yeah, it's just such a good mold. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's not. There are issues you can find. Like it doesn't have a wrist swivel start. That's one little thing, and there are gaps in the forearms. But overall, just fantastic and really fun to flip backwards and forwards. And the overall aesthetic in both modes, it looks fantastic. So yeah, definitely one of my favourite molds that's out there. And yeah, Lamborghinis have always been cool to me. I had die-cast Lamborghinis as a kid and all sorts. So yeah, he's super cool. And then one that doesn't transform then is Jada Toys Jazz. Just a nice die-cast version in 132 scale. A nicely packaged G1 style box. Yeah, that's just cool. So lovely just to have sitting on a shelf.
I didn't actually know that Jada Toys did a jazz. That's
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
They have to do radio control versions of them.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
That'd be nice.
That would
Radio
be sweet.
control jazz.
All right, that's me. Anyone else got any honourables? Brad, you
I'll
have
go
a
with
good
I'll go with R5D4 because like it took me forever to get. I like R2 units and Astrum asteroids specifically. It's an R5 in it, but yeah, it took me a long time to get an R5D4. I used to go to Disney all the time and get like the build the droids and tried to build me out like a kind of like a sort of R5D4. But when they finally brought out the vintage collection one, I was straight on that. He looks more white than he is on camera because he's obviously a bit mucky being the Mandalorian version, but he's a cheeky chap who now has a character rather than just blowing a motivator or wherever it was he blew up. But yeah, R5D4 is a good droid, and they look way cooler than R2 units, I think.
Yeah. I liked my R5D4 as a kid. Honourable, I've got a Spectre with white keys. It's not all white. I've got with the white keys. And I made myself a Lego Manic Brain.
Nice.
That's brilliant.
There you go.
Awesome. Right, that's the end of Pick Your Own then. Good stuff. What's a cool white
I've got
toys?
some honourable mentions.
Oh, you've got some more, have you?
I've
You got some more?
Yeah.
All right, go on then,
Yeah, I've
Lee.
got
Sorry.
some more.
Sorry, don't let me stop you.
Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good. Right, honourable mention. Of course, we've got to say the big lad, Sea Jetfire, which is an awesome big chunky toy. Another one has got to be the Ector one crossover. And this one that came to mind, it's after just bring up a picture to shirt, is one that crossed my mind. The one I had as a kid. I'm gonna find it. Up as it came up. Wait, the size. There we go.
Oh,
Has to be the White Tiger Zord from Power Rangers. That is one hell of a toy.
Nice.
the yellow like a
And definitely
dragon,
one
don't
I-
they?
Yeah, apparently. They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I've not had one since. So. I remember owning this guy and he was awesome. But it's definitely one I'll consider picking up from my childhood. A bit of a transformer there as well. He has his own little battle mode.
It was a bit of an all-in-one, wasn't it? The White Tiger Zord.
That's the,
Yeah, definitely one of the cooler
Yeah.
ones. I remember I got like a massive Power Rangers lot from eBay. That must be going back about 16, 17 years, something like that. And just they were to sell on, but the fun was had on the in between. They were amazing. And this was the Dragon Zord and the I had the Thunder Megazord as well. for a little bit. I kept them for a while because they were so much fun. But yeah, it was quite yellow. It lost a lot of the Daz sheen, shall we call it?
That's the problem with white toys, isn't it? A lot of them do have the natty yellow.
Even like the modern ones. I say to Ed, do you find that do you do any of like the old retro Brighton on the Spectrums or the old consoles or anything like that?
No.
Is there no yellowing problems with them?
No, well, no. That white Spectrum isn't the circuit board inside it. The motherboard is an original Spectrum board, but the case.
That's a retail. Okay.
They're reproduction cases are those.
Nice. I do similar stuff with GameCubes.
Yeah, so no, there's no. I mean, I do have a lot of Spectrums. I mean, a lot of probably 15 plus, and the boxed.
Nice.
I have them all boxed and original and complete and stuff. I have a few loose ones there, which are like which I'll plug in and have 5 minutes on, but because they were produced black, they don't discolor. The only one that does discolor is the Grey Plus 2, which came out in '86, right. And that goes green.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It's normally the iodine that makes it brown, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets a bit of a green sheen on the grey plastic, but I wouldn't. I've seen people do the retro Brighton stuff, but I kind of, I don't do it. Oh yeah, don't get me started on my G1 Jetfire. Just no,
It's brutal, isn't it?
No,
I've done a lot of retro Brighton. I've done it a lot of times. I've got a UV light and everything.
Yeah, I was absolutely crestfallen with that. I've had that. I've had me boxed. I mean, it's complete. It's absolutely mint. It's unused sticker sheets. The lot. It's never been played with, and I must have had it. I've probably had it about 25 years now, and about 10 years ago, it just overnight it just went yellow, and I was absolutely gutted. I mean, where I have my collection, there's no direct sunlight or anything like that, so they can't get messed up in that respect. But because, like when they were first released, they had like a strip of cardboard across the center there, and that's because there's two raised ridges on the back, and that strip of cardboard was to stop it from puncturing the acetate front, the window on the box. So when I take my Jetfire is completely yellow now, apart from a white strip across its back where the piece of cardboard, I have, people have asked me and said, "Oh, why don't you just pick up a white one and swap it over?" But again, I'm not in for that because I would know it's not the Jetfire that came with that box. So it's yellow, but it's original. So yeah, gutting. It's getting harder and harder now to find a white Jetfire. Because it's just the nature of the plastic that they used back in the day. It goes yellow. I mean, I've got old Stormtrooper Star Wars figures from when I was a kid. And they've oddly enough, they've not uniformly gone yellow. There's there's like patches here and there, but I don't suppose it's anything you can do anything with.
There doesn't seem to be like any rhyme or reason in my experience. And like
no.
Different things will go yellow at different times depending on the exposure. But then I've had like GameCubes and figures that have never, ever like gone yellow, and I've had things that have been packed away like your Jetfire and out of sunlight that have just gone completely yellow. And when I've retrobrighted things, I've retrobrighted tens of like games consoles, and in my experience, within a year they're always back to going yellow. Not to the same extent, but it does. It's not a long term.
No, it's not. No.
No.
I mean, when I go on eBay, because I keep looking out like on the microcomputer front, always keeping an eye out for a good boxed Iacon Electron, and
Oh, beautiful.
you struggle, you struggle to get a complete one that's white. They've either gone full yellow or they've gone like that ivory kind of off-white colour. People out there, they do sell them when they've been retro-brighted, but like you say, within 12 months they've gone again, and sometimes they actually go worse afterwards. But it's not just, Guzzy mentioned about UV protective glass and stuff like that. It isn't always just UV light that makes the plastic go yellow. It can be heat, it can be heat. It's just
moisture.
Yeah, moisture. It's just one of those things. So, could you just imagine how gutted, going back to the Hot Toys thing? Does anyone know if the Hot Toy Stormtroopers have yellowed? Could you just
painful,
imagine?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be. It was like I'll just dirty it up and it can be a sand trooper.
I think with Transformers a couple of years ago, there was a suggestion that there'd been a shortage of a certain substance that they put into the mix in the plastic,
right?
And that's why we were getting a lot of yellowed Transformers for a couple of years on the Transformers line.
It was back, wasn't it, with a vengeance? There was one it was some of the Cyberverse stuff, maybe RC, that seemed to.
And some of the generation stuff as well.
RC was back.
So Hasbro was selling us subpar toys.
You sound surprised.
They blamed it on the.
We've run out of that. We're going to carry on anyway, isn't it? It's just, we've got to have something to sell.
This lad's known for it, isn't it? Yellowy.
Actually, don't give Hasbro any ideas. That'll be the next thing from Hasbro, won't it? It will be aged vintage effect figures.
Pre-yellowed.
Pre-yellowed. Your pre-yellowed G1 Ratchet.
They tried that with that Studio Series Transformers 1 Optimus, didn't they? Oh, God.
But bizarrely, there's nothing on it that can go yellow. But I have a boxed G1 Swoop, and the bubble has gone yellow on that.
No.
Yeah. Everything's fine, but the bubble's gone yellow. And also on the Diamond Select, I've got the Diamond Select Battle of the Planets figures, and the bubble on Princess or Jun, whichever one you want to call her, that's gone yellow as that. That's gone horribly yellow. But it's not just isolated to mine. Apparently, there must have been some fault with the bubbles for Princess figure because they've all gone yellow.
It's wild how random it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I especially in a line of figures like that where there's just one out of a batch that does it and the others don't. So yeah.
Hey.
Right. I feel like we've comprehensively covered white toys now. For respect. We never need to talk about them again.
Nope.
Done. Shall we move on and do our discussion, which is going to be who moved the goalposts? What do we do when we've met our collecting goals? Roll the tape, B.
Oh, good. Fancy a cup of tea?
Yes, please.
Well, make me one while you're at it, will you?
Right, Lee, as this was your idea, do you want to kick us off?
Well, certainly. Right, so what brought this to mind is at the moment I'm going through, I suppose you can call it a bit of a crisis. This year, a couple of years ago, when the war for Cybertron Siege started off, I set out with a goal. I wanted to collect all a modern take on the 84 lineup. So whatever toys came out on the 84, but I wanted like a modern update to them. Just a nice little collection. And on that, I started adding like the season one. pretty much this year I achieved that goal, and now I'm in a place like, well, what do I do? Well, do I continue? What can I do? I've finished what I wanted to achieve. Do I carry on with getting more toys? Do I just say that's it? That'll do. I've got a nice looking display. Do I start again? And it just takes you. It made me take a step back and look at what it meant for me to collect and where do I want to go with it all. So like, so what I'm kind of in the midst of doing is, right, I want to enjoy these toys now. I'm not particularly bothered at the display. I've got that in the cabinet. So that's all my 84 stuff now. That's the goal completed, which leaves me this wall, which has 2 shelves. And what do I do? Do I get going looking into other toy lines, which could be another, which can be a good way, but at the same time it does you can send your brain a bit, especially if you've got a brain like mine, where you sort of have that complete gotta catch it all in your mind. But at the same time, I don't want to have that. I want to be able to just pick up a toy and enjoy it. So it's like, what do you think? Like, what would you do in that predicament?
Do you want to go, Brad?
Yeah, I can. I kind of relate to that. For years, I used to collect. A long time, I collected Galaxy Force, and I had a nearly full like TV show cast of Galaxy Force figures with all the boxes. And to be honest, it became, as soon as I hit that like kind of like the milestone of where I wanted to be with that, I stopped enjoying them. I can't remember what the last figure I got was, but they sat in the cabinet for a little bit, and then kind of I put them all away in the boxes and put them in the cupboard and just forgot they were there. And I've always had like kind of the generations kind of like the chug stuff going on. That's kind of an ongoing thing. You're never going to reach an end with that, I don't think. You're constantly replacing older figures with newer figures. Depends on the characters you've got, and I enjoy that to a certain extent. That's fine. But then there's those sublines like Galaxy Force and Unicron Trilogy stuff that like I built up to completing, and then when I got there, just totally stopped enjoying it. So at one point I moved house and just decided to get rid of loads of my Galaxy Force figures. Left it about a year, and then I kind of picked one up again, and I was like, oh yeah, I really like that figure. I'm gonna maybe watch eBay and like pick up some more of those figures again. And then like more came in, and then I got some figures I didn't have before from other lines like Energon and Armada, like special edition figures, like the DVD set figures. And then I got to another point where like I had to make a life change, and like I was far less kind of conservative about getting rid of stuff this time. So I was like, right, last time I got rid of stuff, it kind of recycled my love for finding these figures again. So I just offed loads of it. And now again, I'm kind of like watching eBay again, looking out for these figures on the cheap, and they're not cheap anymore. And obviously some of them are coming out in like the main line now as well, which makes it even better. But I think like I don't tend to like keep collection goals. I think the fun is always in the hunt, enjoying what you have and finding things on the hunt, and not sacrificing kind of things you need in real life to bolster your toy collection or to build up your toy collection, because you're always going to need to pay your rent, buy your food, support your kids. You've got things like that. But then when you find like a figure that you love for like a decent price, or you replace that figure that you had before for a decent price, or you just find something you want and you can pick it up, then I think that's like the key to collecting. So it's okay to reach a milestone and to have a milestone, but then you might stop enjoying it. So off it and start again in a year or 2 years down the line, or find another goal. The fun's in the hunt, not owning the stuff, because you could get by on 5 Transformers if you just like playing with Transformers, but Like if you've got that kind of like that hunt going on in your head, like, oh, I could find this here, I could find that there, or there's that unexpected, like I've just found that on eBay or Vinted for next to nothing. That's the fun, I think. So yeah, I think I made a point then.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Somewhere in the rambling.
So for me personally, I'm sort of in the position that, as Lee said, for me, when I started collecting, what I really wanted was an update of all the original 1984 Transformers toys in a modern version, and I went for modern versions just because they're more accessible, easier to come by, and probably more affordable. There's some very difficult to get G1 toys. So yeah, and I basically completed that now with the buzzsaw that came with the new Soundwave. He was the last one. Obviously, like you said, Brad, there's always going to be updates, and I think I definitely would love an update of Wind Charger and a better Ravage. Those are the main two that I'd love to see better versions now to go with the others. But basically, that's the only real goal, specific solid goal I've had in my collecting since I started, and that's essentially complete now. But even with that, very, very soon after I'd started collecting and aiming for that, I'd started to branch out into getting other Transformers, and it was specifically just Transformers for a number of years before I branched out into other stuff. So yeah, and with that, it was just, that looks like a cool toy, I'll get that one. And that looks like a cool toy, I'll get that one. And it did become sort of a theme that I was getting emergency services ones, just because I think they always look cool. But that's not specific characters. So any emergency service Transformer that comes out, I'm going to be interested. But if they don't release them, it doesn't matter. So I suppose the things I'm trying to think, really, not just about myself, but about the collecting community in general. What can people do? If I think there are people who set themselves very specific goals, stick to them, and when it's done, it's done. And then you can just stop collecting and just enjoy having what you've got. And that's a valid way to collect. The other thing is people can have a goal, achieve it, and then they think, oh, if I've completed the 1984 cast, maybe I could move on and go for the 1985 cast. You know, set a new goal. I think that's something you could legitimately choose to do after you've met one goal, is try and set a new one for yourself. But the option I've gone for is to completely freeball it and just buy things I like. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it does take a certain amount of discipline in terms of your finances and in terms of how you use your space, really. You know, that I've got limited money, I've got limited space. I have to be disciplined with myself in making choices about what I buy and when. And I do have to move on older stuff as well, which helps with managing the space and gives me money to then put back in to buying new stuff. Like I said, so far this year, I am in profit. Only by a couple of pounds, but still.
Doesn't happen to many people, does it?
So yeah, yeah, I'm pretty much a rotating collection at this point, because I want to, although it's not a specific goal, I definitely want to experience new figures. So that would be a sort of a ambiguous goal, really. Is I want to continue experiencing new figures. I want to continue interacting with other toy collectors and being part of this community. That's a big part of it for me. I have a lot of fun hanging out with other toy collectors and talking to you guys and all of that, and going to the conventions and everything else. So I want to carry on with it, and I want to experience new toys, but I don't need to get a specific set of figures at this stage. For me, that's not where I'm at anymore. Ed, do you have a take on this discussion topic? What do you do?
Just refresh me.
So what do you do when you've completed your collecting goals?
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, I think I firmly fall into that category. When I started, like, you know, in the late 90s, it was that I learned by doing, and a lot of collectors seem to do this, and then, you know, they learn, they get wise to it, is that I fell into that trap of just buying anything that had the word Transformers on it. Yeah, so, you know, when I don't know, was it called RID or Car Robots? Or, when that rocked up, I was buying them. I would be buying, on the second-hand markets, I'd pick up Beast Wars stuff, anything Transformers wise. But then,
take care.
Yeah, good night, Guzzy. My epiphany moment, blinding light on the road to Damascus was I was in one of these like cheap pound shops, and I found myself. I was going down the aisle, and I picked up an Animorph, and I was like, "No!" And I just put it straight back on the shelf.
Light bulb.
It rethunk my life, and that would probably be in early 2000s. I think that would have been, and that's when I made the decision that my G1 collection would be the characters from the first season of the cartoon, and that's it. So they're done, dusted. Nothing's happening with them. They're locked off. I then sold a load of stuff. That was when Shining Magnus got sold, and a lot of my e-hobby exclusives and stuff like that, they got sold off as well, because I was trimming down. I wanted to just keep it to the core characters that I decided. Then Masterpiece rocks up, and I started, repaints, the Diaclone color schemes and things like that, and then again, I got to a point I was like, no, this needs to stop. So the Masterpiece collection reflects my G1 collection. So it's the characters from the first season of the cartoon, and that was it. And that was fine up until a point. And then, which figure was it? I think it was a Patchy, Fans Toys Springer. I was like, yeah. So then I decided to then just extend it to the characters from the 86 movie, but bear with me on this one. But just to the characters that appear on the American poster. So basically your core, I think there's 13 or 12 characters. So you got like the Autobots, and then you got Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge. And so that's it. And touch wood, I'm quite firm with myself in that, and I've stuck to that. I will pick up other bits here and there, but like with the Black Series stuff, I'll pick those up. But it's always in my mind that I pick them up thinking I'll enjoy them for the bit, and I'll just sell them when I get bored of them, and I'll just move them on, So yeah, I think from my personal point of view, it sounds a bit odd, but I would like to stop. I think I'm at that stage now where I would like to stop. There's one or two. I mean, I'm waiting for Fans Toys to do Bumblebee and Windcharger, and I think once we've got those, and maybe the Galvatron 2.0 from Fans Toys, I could see myself stopping and just saying, right, I'm calling it a day. I think I'd still pick up the odd peripheral stuff, like I mentioned earlier on. But I think from a figure point of view, I think I'd be done. I'm not saying that I'm looking forward to that, but I'm feeling now that there's nothing really, because I'm not really into mainline. He said just picking up Deluxe G1 Prime, but I'm not into the mainline stuff. I'm not really into the blockies thing and things like that. It was just those caught my eye. But I think maybe there is a section of collectors out there like myself that maybe just happy to get what they want and then stop, or maybe looking for a way to stop. I mean, do I think I'd stick to it? I'd like to think I would, but I'm pretty sure something would come along that would catch my eye and think, oh, go on then. I'll just take, like the Chogokin Rubik's Cube. It was just like, oh yeah, I think I'll get that. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I think there's a certain, not to be too generalizing, but I think there's maybe a certain mindset to the type of people that we are fundamentally. There's something in us that's hardwired that, we think, all right, we'll collect this or we'll collect that. whether it's Transformers, whether it's Corgi, whether it's records, whether it's videotape. I think there's just something in us, the type of people that we are, that have this necessity to maybe we're all magpies in a former life. It's like, got to pick. We've got to pick that up. But I could never be. Again, because I don't have the space and don't have the funds, I could never be one of these collectors that just go and just get everything. Just sort of like, right, especially mainline stuff. I think mainline is just so varied, and there's just so much that gets pumped out that I think for me it would be more of a stress to keep up rather than it being an enjoyment. Because I think that's fundamentally what it is. You've got to keep it enjoyable. I think if it ever gets to a point where you're not enjoying it, that's the time to stop, or at least pause it, reflect, look at what you've got, and then make the decision to just focus on one particular area. Or like yourself, whether it be service vehicle Transformers, or whether it be Black Optimus Primes or things like that. Just pick an avenue and go with that. Because there will be people out there that will get themselves into debt trying to keep up with their hobby, and that's not good. That's not good.
Absolutely. I think there's value in having goals in respect of it is a way to help yourself be disciplined and focus on specific things. Like I said, I'm basically freeballing it, and for me the discipline comes in how much I spend. But some people might not find it that straightforward, just to say I'm just going to set a budget and stick to it. So setting goals is another way you can help to manage that, really, to say I'm only going to buy this specific subset of something.
I mean, the other thing I try to tell, when people have asked me this, about what to collect and things like that, I've said, just sort of like, just keep it fun, and just remember that they're not essential purchases. It's at the end of the day, they're just toys. They're not important, and just sort of like, think about, try and think about what you would like, or as opposed to thinking, right, well, I need this. You don't need it. Just think, I would like this particular line of figures, or I would like that. But just try and set your goalposts, before you start.
It's interesting you say that. I've been I used to collect a lot of Lego Star Wars, and I'm a member of a Lego Star Wars group on Facebook. I don't have any anymore like that. I got out of it. There's a Clone Wars set that's just been released, and it's driving the Lego Star Wars community bonkers, because in that set there's a Qui-Gon Jinn figure with a slightly redder beard than the normal one, and it's currently going for £100 per minifigure. Right. Because they and this mentality exists throughout all of collection fandoms, doesn't it? But this one figure, this in this it's a £40 set. I can't remember which set it is, because the beard is slightly redder, and it was a correction, and it's been discontinued with the redder beard. The one figure is going for £100. It's just like I would never want to be in that mentality where I had to have that figure because the beard is slightly redder. And I think that's, if that's what you like, then that's what you like. I'm good with that. That's cool. But that, to me, that would just be, that's completely irrational, spending that much on a figure that I can already get with a slightly redder beard.
But I think you find that, though. I mean, it's like, I think we as collectors do that. We shoot ourselves in the foot, because we end up inadvertently artificially inflating prices of particular figures. Yeah, and we know that they're, that the price is far more than what it actually is worth. But there are a subset of collectors that will pay that, because they have this, they've got to have it,
Yeah.
And it's that's why I think, when you get down the line of reissues and things like that of figures, it's a good thing, because it allows then people to pick up a particular figure that they weren't able to get the first time round.
Definitely.
I mean, I always use the example of, recently, the G.I. Joe classified line. They did Eels, which is like the scuba diver, the Cobra scuba diver. That came out, and the prices just went silly on it. And people were buying like 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 of it, and it's like, come on, I'm not averse to army building, but at least give, the way I operate with things like that is, I'll pick one, maybe two, but then I'll make, I think everyone needs to wet the beak on it, so let everyone get the figure they want. Because they will do another run, or they'll do a third run, and then come in then and build your army.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
It's interesting how pricing works, isn't it? I think value is a different proposition to different people, isn't it? But some of these mainline figures that started off at 25 quid retail, going for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. To me, there is no way, however much I'm attached to a character, whatever. There is no way I am spending 100, 200 pounds on a modern deluxe. No chance. And that's not a judgment against people that do necessarily. It's just, I cannot justify that. I cannot see that value at all.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a mentality as well with some collectors. They will use that as a bragging right. Look, I've got this figure. I paid £250 for this. More fool you. It's not. You've just been stiffed. It's just like, it's not a particular bragging right. It's just. But like I say, at the end of the day, it's their money. They can do what they want with it. They've earned it. More power to them.
One thing that always comes to mind, you talk about bragging rights, is when the Deluxe Seekers for a long time were BotCon exclusives. Thundercracker and Skywalker's mainline, Thundercracker and the Seekers you could only get in a BotCon set. And when Generations Thundercracker was announced, I think the petition's still up there actually, someone started a petition to keep Thundercracker exclusive.
Right.
This was like, it went around, this is going back obviously years when the T30, I don't even know if it was T30, it might have been Original Generations. Thundercracker was announced. And this person was so cross that he wasn't going to be one of the only ones with a Thundercracker anymore, that he started a petition. The petition entries were very interesting. Really good reads, to be fair, for all the right reasons. But this just I was always amused by this one guy sitting at home really cross that he wasn't going to be the only one with a Thundercracker anymore. If you can find it, it's a read. It's very
that
good.
is a bizarre mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would just want people to be able to get the figure and enjoy the figure.
Yeah.
Why would
this
you
guy
not?
Was very cross. Very cross that he wasn't going to be the only one anymore. It was good. It was a good time.
Oh dear. Right, we're closing in on 10 o'clock. I feel like we might be coming to an end. Has anybody got anything else they want to contribute?
No, I think
discussion related or otherwise. Any final questions in the chat? Anything?
Custard slices, yay or nay?
Yay. Oh boy. We should have a custard slice party, Brad.
There should always be a custard slice party.
Let's all just get together and eat custard slices.
They've never had to alter the design of custard slices, have they? No, they're not ergonomic. They're difficult to eat, but everyone loves them. I think, anyway.
Oh, yeah. When you take a bite and it comes out the backside.
There's no decent way to eat a custard slice, but they are well loved. Yeah.
I'm still scarred from back in the day and having the roof of my mouth melted off from a fruit pie from McDonald's.
They were molten, weren't they?
They were.
They're not the same anymore. They're not.
Well, I don't think they do the fruit pie anymore. They still do the apple pie, but I don't believe they do the fruit pie.
No,
the fruit pie was
They
always
occasionally do limited edition
right.
with
Right.
other fruits in.
ones,
The
don't
apple
they?
pie is the
Yeah.
mainstay.
Yeah.
It's like the McRib. You know, I really miss the McRib.
It came back recently, didn't it?
Did
I
it?
got one in, and then like every time I've gone back since, this not there.
I liked the simplicity of the old menus where you just had like maybe 10 items on a menu and that was it.
Yeah.
We're overloaded with choice these days.
Yeah.
And it's too much
Listen,
for
I'm
an
gonna-
old brain like mine.
This is how ancient I am. I can remember as a young kid going for my first burger, if you were a proper burger, to a Wimpy where you ate it from a plate with a knife and fork.
I used to go to Wimpy's as a kid.
We were all the
Good
birthday
times.
parties at Wimpy's where Mr.
Yeah.
Wimpy would come out and take a shoe in with a massive
Yeah.
foam suit.
Yeah, because they used to do this fold-out 3D Mr. Wimpy that you could get, you know, for the kids. Like
right.
it concertinaed out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the day I opened my first bank account, my parents took me to the bank and then took me for a Wimpy afterwards.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you know what I really like about modern fast food though is that you can order on the machines now. Because I used to like stand in line rehearsing what I was going to say like for ages and then just completely pissing it up at the till. And they'd be like, "What do you want?" I was, if only there was some kind of touchscreen method where I could just order what I want without having to speak to you. Now it's there.
No, yeah.
Bit of cake and burger chat to end the show. Love it. All right. Shall we start to wrap things up? Let's Ed, are you planning on getting back to making any videos or anything, or are you all just Cosmic Council these days?
Oh, I've got. Where is it? I'll show you this. I've got a folder here full of video ideas. Yeah, but my trouble is I procrastinate too much, and it's like I'm constantly updating my notes, thinking, right, no, I need to change that. I do want to get back into the video making business, but I think at the moment I think I've given myself too much to do, and I've no idea where to start. Yeah, they're probably irrelevant now, but I've still got. It's up on my board here, my to-do board. I've still 2 collectors' archives to edit and publish. Paul and Dave from Transformers the Show. Yeah, but I recorded those. It's probably about a year since I recorded them, so they're probably massively out of date. But really, I should edit them and get them published. So yeah, I would like to get back onto YouTube, but you can see me on Cosmic Council. But at the moment, I tend to be just lurking around Instagram. I've gone back to my original passion of just taking bland, static shots of figures. Just like it's all about the catalogue pose from the.
I did like the picture you did of your stickered up G1 Deluxe Prime.
Oh yeah. It does look nice. It does look nice, and like I put on that post, it gave me a real vibe of the artwork from the '85 Marvel UK annual. Like the shimmer on the windows of the chest. But yeah, so no, if you want to see what I'm doing currently, it's all on Instagram.
And it's Vaults of Iacon everywhere. Right, and Brad, you've got 1 or 2 things going on. So I don't know that we're going to see you doing any videos soon.
Well, I've got 2 that are filmed and one's been in the edit for 2 years, but one I filmed the top 7 of 2024 that I've kind of like halfway through editing, but the last month has been atrociously mental. So, but there is stuff coming. I don't know when because there's a wedding in May that I'm knee deep in planning, and there's about 3 or 4, 5, 6 gigs that are incoming for the band as well. So I don't know. I'll get them out at some point, but I truly, definitely want to stay in the eBay game. YouTube game. I will be staying in the YouTube game, but yeah, when I get a bit more time to do whatever it is I need to do.
Well, we'll certainly try and get you back on here from time to time as
I would
well.
love to. That'd be great. It is all about the podcasts at the moment. I think we're doing quite a lot of podcasting, so it's always fun. Appreciate you having me on.
Awesome. Right. Thanks, guys. Lee, do you want to wrap us up? Can't hear you.
He's
gone
muted.
All right. Yes. For me myself, I'm hoping to get another video out. I tend to just do my videos on the fly and throw them up fairly quickly, unedited type stuff, just talking to camera. So I'll do something at some point. But again, I'm just loving doing the live streams really at the moment. So that's me.
Hello, can
Go
you
on
hear
then.
me?
I can hear you now, Lee.
Hello. Very good.
Bloody mics. Fall asleep.
All right.
So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Lee. You're welcome, Lee. So if you look forward to see you all on the next episode of Time Into You, please feel free to check out all our videos on all our respective channels. And I hope to see you all next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.